Hello. Someone messaged me to make an episode na dedicated sa Central Dogma. And since this channel is primarily dedicated naman talaga to molecular biology, so why not? So in this special lecture, in this first special lecture, we will be discussing the central dogma of molecular biology. So it's called the central dogma kasi it is the central concept of molecular biology. Lahat ng mga pinag-aaralan natin sa molecular biology, lahat yon naka-anchor sa concept ng central dogma. Of course, as you progress in molecular biology, you will eventually realize na there are, or the central dogma is a very simplistic approach to looking at molecular interactions. But still, although it's simplistic, it is still a good starting point in introducing anyone to the field of mol bio. Sige, let's start. In the most basic sense, the central dogma of molecular biology is just the process of converting your DNA into your protein. Pero kasi, hindi mo pwedeng i-convert si DNA directly into your protein. Hindi pwede yon. You need to have an RNA as an intermediate. Kaya, the central dogma of molecular biology can just be summarized as the conversion of your DNA to your RNA into your protein. Kaya yung end goal talaga ng central dogma is to make proteins. So protein synthesis. Bakit? Kasi napaka-important ng proteins natin kasi napakarami niyang functions sa any organism. Like for example, sa katawan natin, these proteins are responsible for the structural integrity of your cell. Responsible ang proteins sa pagsaserve as enzymes sa different reactions. Pag wala tayong proteins, impossible yung pag-sustain ng life kasi very slow yung mga chemical reactions. Kasi nga, di ba, the enzyme is responsible in speeding up chemical reactions in order to sustain life. Tapos napakarami pang mga functions ng proteins. Kaya, pag wala tayong central dogma, hindi natin malalaman kung paano ba tayo nakakagawa ng mga proteins na to. Ngayon, balikan natin yung concept ng DNA. Di ba, the DNA is the genetic material of the organism. Since genetic material siya, siya yung nagko-code for the different traits na meron ng isang organism. Tapos, etong DNA naman, nasa loob kasi siya ng nucleus, di ba? If you remember that the different parts of your cell, marami tayong mga organelles, di ba? And may structure doon na tinatawag dati na nucleus. The DNA is located in the nucleus. Tapos, hindi mo kasi pwedeng gamitan directly si DNA. Kailangan muna natin siyang i-convert to RNA into protein kasi bawal ilabas si DNA. So remember this, bawal mo ilabas si DNA doon sa nucleus kasi very prone siya to damages. And remember na very precious ang DNA mo kasi nga that codes for the blueprint of you as an organism. It is the blueprint of life. So hindi mo pwedeng ilabas-labas yan si DNA. Yan yung purpose kung bakit i-convert muna natin siya to RNA. The RNA is just a copy of the DNA para si RNA na yung i-convert natin into a protein. So I hope that's clear. So the DNA is located inside the nucleus. Tapos hindi kasi siya natin pwedeng ilabas kasi very sensitive siya to damages. Kaya yung gagawin natin, magka-copy muna tayo, and yung copy na yon is called your RNA. Tapos the RNA na ang i-convert natin into a protein. The conversion of your DNA to your RNA is called transcription. So yan yung process na yon. DNA to RNA is called transcription. Then the process of your RNA, converting your RNA into a protein is called translation. So that's the very basic flow of the central dogma. If you can see in this illustration, dito sa DNA, your DNA is composed of different nucleotide bases. So ayan yung mga nucleotide bases natin. We have your guanine, thymine, adenine, and cytosine, GTAC. So yung apat na letters na yun yung composition ng DNA natin. Your RNA is roughly composed of the same bases, pero your thymine is replaced into a uracil. So yung mga bases natin for your RNA is GUAC, guanine, uracil, adenine, and cytosine. Tapos, these nucleotide bases can be converted into amino acids. So yung nakikita nyo dito, these are amino acids. Ayan. So for example, yung amino acids natin, we have serine, arginine, glycine, threonine, glycine, alanine, lysine, so on and so forth. So those are examples of your amino acids. How do you convert from your nucleotide bases into your amino acids? I-group natin siya into three. So kaya nakikita nyo dito, ayan, dyan sa illustration na yan, it is grouped into three. Group of three nucleotide bases is equal to one amino acid. And yung group of three nucleotide bases na yon ay tinatawag natin na codon. So ayan, codon. Codon is just a triplet ng nucleotide bases. So for example, we have this one codon right here. We have ATG. This is another codon, ACG. This is another codon, GTA. This is another codon, CAG. Tapos, when you convert from your DNA to your RNA, di ba for example, i-open natin, kasi di ba the DNA is a double-stranded molecule. Pag i-open natin ang DNA na yan, so masa-separate yung dalawang strands, di ba? Tapos, yung pag-copy natin into an RNA happens through complementary base pairing. So yung paraan ng pagka-copy from your DNA to your RNA is called complementary base pairing. Ano yung complementary base pairing? Ibig sabihin na yung isang nucleotide base ay meron siyang kapartner. And in the case of your DNA, para kasi siyang GTAC, di ba? GTAC. Yung magka-pair dyan ay itong nasa gitna at itong nasa labas. The means and the extremes. So your G partners with your C and vice versa. C partners with your G. Your T partners with your A and your A partners with your T. Yan yung um, yan yung paraan ng pagka-copy from your DNA to your RNA. So again, that's complementary base pairing. G partners with C, C partners with G, T partners with A partners with T. Or in the case of your RNA, this T is replaced with U, this T is replaced with U. Ngayong meron ka ng mga codons, like for example, you have this codon AUG, ACG, GUA. Each of those codons code for one unique amino acid. So meron kang isang unique na amino acid na nagko-code for that codon. Like for example, this AUG actually codes for met. Ayan, met or methionine. Tapos your GUA, kunyari, that codes for your asparagine. Ayan, GUA codes for your asparagine. Ngayon, paano natin malalaman kung ano yung conversion niya, 'di ba? Ayan, sorry na stop. Paano natin malalaman kung ano yung kapartner niya? Ano yung equivalent ng codon na yon? Pwede natin siyang gawin using the table, which we call the Universal Genetic Code. Sige, papakita ko sa inyo yung itsura ng Universal Genetic Code. This is an example of the Universal Genetic Code or tinatawag din nating the Wobble Table. And based on this table, malalaman natin kung ano yung equivalent ng different codons mo. For example, we have the codon UAG. Kunyari yan yung codon mo. Anong equivalent niya? Titingnan mo lang yung labels ng, ang tawag dyan, ng row. Like for example, first letter. If the first letter is U, eto yun, di ba? Yan yung first letter mo, that's U. Ibig sabihin, dito ka na titingin sa row na yan. Huwag ka nang tumingin sa other rows. Tapos, yung second letter mo, so this is U, yan yung first letter mo. Then the second letter is A, so dito yon. Yung intersection nila is this box. Yan yung cell ng intersection mo. U and A. Tapos yung last letter is G. Since G yung last letter, titingnan mo kung ano yung intersection nila. So that would be UAG. So UAG, therefore, yung equivalent pala ng UAG is the stop codon. Basically, titingnan mo lang yung first letter, yung second letter, and yung third letter, and titingnan mo dun sa table kung ano yung intersection ng tatlong letters na yon. Now, let's try another one. What if GAC? What if GAC? Anong amino acid yan? So, ito yung G. Then your A. Yung A mo ay ito. 'Di ba? Then yung C mo, sa third letter mo, 'di ba, titingnan? So, G, A, then C. Ayan. So, yung intersection niya ay eto. That's your GAC. Ang pangit ng line. Ayan. That's your GAC. So, since titingnan mo yung intersection ng first, second, and third letters, di ba? So, the correct answer would be, or the amino acid that is being coded by your codon GAC is asparagine. Kasi ito yon. So, both GAU and GAC code for asparagine. Sige, last example. So, last example, let's say CCC. So, saan yan? This is C. This is C. CC. So that codes for your proline. So proline ang equivalent niyan. So ganyan magbasa from codon to your amino acid. Ganyan mag-translate. Ngayon palaliman natin yung understanding natin on the three different stages. We have your replication, transcription, and your translation. Sige, for your replication, this happens when your cell divides. So nagde-divide kasi yung cells natin, 'di ba? Kasi kung hindi yan magde-divide, edi mauubusan tayo ng cells kasi we shed off every day. Nag-shed off tayo ng cells. Kaya kailangan din siyang ma-replace. And yung pag-replace ng cells na yon is for them to replicate. So kailangan kunyari meron kang isang cell, ganyan, meron kang isang cell, that cell divides, nag-undergo siya ng cell division para mas rumami. Kasi di ba ito, isa lang yung cell mo, tapos nung nag-divide na siya, dalawa na. Nagkakaroon ka ng cell division. Tapos, during that cell division, syempre, your DNA also needs to be replicated. Kailangan siyang i-replicate kasi both of these daughter cells should have their own DNA. Kasi ano yung gagamitin niyang blueprint if wala siyang DNA, di ba? So, kailangan natin mag-undergo ng replication. Yun yung importance ng replication. Sa isang DNA kasi, yung kunyari, isang DNA strand, di ba double-stranded siya? So sabi natin kanina, your DNA is a double-stranded molecule, and let's say na inelongate natin siya para it forms two straight lines. Ito yon. Kunyari, yan yung DNA natin na in-extend natin para maging straight line siya. One strand actually runs from 5' to 3'. Tapos, the other strand runs from 3' to 5'. Okay? Tapos, remember this na the replication of your DNA always happens in a direction na 5' to 3'. Yan yung direction ng ang pangit ng handwriting. Oh, wait. Yan yung direction ng ating replication, 5' to 3'. Ito yung nangyayari dito sa taas. So as you can see, continuous yung pag-code sa kanya kasi tama yung orientation niya, 5' to 3'. Pero sa other strand kasi, yung nangyayari, yung nagiging direction niya ay 3' to 5', which is not ideal kasi hindi ganyan yung normal na direction ng pag-replicate. Kaya kung matitingnan nyo, kung titingnan nyo, putol-putol ang pag-replicate sa kanya kasi that is not the correct direction, di ba? Nabaliktad siya. Yung sa taas, this is continuous. So, continuous yan. Dito naman sa baba, discontinuous ang replication niya. Putol-putol. Discontinuous kasi opposite yung direction ng pag-replicate niya. Kaya kung titingnan nyo sa taas, continuous yung strand, pero dito sa baba, putol-putol. This is one fragment, another fragment, another fragment, another fragment. So putol-putol siya, and those fragments are what we call the Okazaki fragments. Napaka-complicated ng concept ng replication. So kung gusto nyo ng mas malalim pang talakayan sa replication, if you want a further or a more in-depth explanation of replication, especially mga processes na involved, ano yung mga mechanisms, ano yung mga players na involved. So mag-comment lang kayo if gusto niyo ng another video for that. Pero for now, ganito lang muna ka surface level yung itatakol natin. Pero gusto ko lang malaman nyo na yan yung nangyayari. Mali yung spelling. Yan, continuous. Sige, so that is replication. The next step is transcription. So this is transcription. Tapos, remember na yung transcription mo also runs from 5' to 3'. So 5' to 3'. Tapos, di ba dalawa yung strand sa transcription? We have the coding strand. Sa transcription, one strand is the coding strand. The other is the non-coding strand. Pag sinabi natin coding strand, yan yung strand na nagiging basis natin or nagiging template natin for the making of your protein. So yun yung nako-code from the word itself, code. Coding, yun yung strand na nako-code. The non-coding strand naman is the strand opposite the coding strand. So yung non-coding strand, hindi siya nako-code. So hindi yun yung nagiging template natin. Okay? Tapos, this is already your mRNA. So that is the intermediate, diba, of your DNA to your protein that is called your mRNA or messenger RNA. So from the word itself, messenger, it carries the message from the DNA in order for it to be translated into a protein. Ngayon, take note na mRNA is not the only type of RNA. Napakarami pang types ng RNA. We have the tRNA, for example, we have the tRNA, we have the rrRNA, meron pa tayong long non-coding RNA, so on and so forth. Napakarami. Pero in the context of transcription, yung intermediate talaga or yung intermediary between your DNA and your protein is your mRNA. Yan yung transcript. This is what we call the transcript. Tapos, this transcript, di ba, that transcript that runs from 5' to 3' is composed of your exons and your introns. So meron kang exons. So di ba parang composed siya of different segments. Let's say this is an exon, intron, intron, exon, intron, exon. For example lang na ganyan. Remember na your exons are the expressed segments. Expressed. So from the word itself, expressed, yun yung mga segments na actually kailangan natin for protein synthesis. Yung mga introns naman, they are spliced out. Nasa spliced out or tinatanggal. Spliced out ang introns, tinatanggal sila kasi hindi siya needed for expression. And just like your replication, very complicated and complex din ang concept ng transcription. So if you want a more in-depth video, comment na lang para mag-allocate tayo ng isang buong episode just for transcription kasi sobrang haba ng process na to. Pero for now, that's an overview of what transcription is. Now let's proceed to the last step, which is translation. Again, translation is the process of converting your RNA to your proteins. Tapos, Unlike your transcription, which happens inside the nucleus, once kasi nagkaroon ka na ng mRNA strand, di ba? Once nagkaroon ka na ng transcript, that transcript now goes out of the nucleus. So, umaalis na siya sa nucleus papunta sa cytoplasm. So, for example, this is your nucleus. Yung transcript na nabuo sa loob, lalabas na siya. Lalabas na siya sa nucleus. Tapos, pupunta na siya ngayon sa ribosomes mo. Medyo mali yung scaling dito kasi the nucleus is very much bigger than your ribosomes. Pero you get the point. Na lumalabas yung transcript mo from the nucleus papuntang ribosomes. Tapos dito sa ribosome, nangyayari ang translation. So again, dito sa translation, binabasa nila ang mga codons. Tapos, once nabasa yung codon mo, these codons actually bind to the anticodons. Ayan. These codons, di ba, this is your transcript, this is your mRNA. Tapos, your mRNA binds with an anticodon. Tapos, itong anticodon na to, that is complementary to the codon on your mRNA. Tapos, each anticodon is bound to one type of amino acid. Like for example, this anticodon, CUA, ay contain siya dito sa tRNA. By the way, this is tRNA. Tinatawag din nating transfer RNA. Ayan, transfer RNA. Yung codon mo here, dyan sa mRNA mo, ito, na codon, that is complementary to the anticodon on your tRNA. And on the other side of your tRNA, may nakakabit na amino acid. In this case, we have asparagine. That means na your GAU pala codes for your asparagine. Yan yung dahilan kung bakit nata-translate siya from your codon to your amino acid. Kasi meron kang transfer RNA na siya yung nagbabasa. Binabasa niya kung ano yung codon mo by using its anticodon. So once nag-bind yung anticodon doon sa codon, meaning match sila, nalalaman niya na ngayon kung ano yung amino acid na ikakabit. Tapos, maraming mga tRNA yan na papasok, then lalabas, papasok, then lalabas, papasok, then lalabas, hanggang sa mag-grow ang peptide chain mo. So this is now your growing peptide chain composed of the different amino acids. And once magkaroon ka na ng peptide chain na to, this will then undergo post-translational modification. So once magkaroon ka na ng peptide chain na yan, chain pa lang yan ha, kasi nabuo na siya, it will then undergo post-translational modifications. Post-translational modifications in order to finally form your functional proteins. So after mo magkaroon ng growing peptide chain, magde-detach yung chain na yon, then it will undergo post-translational modifications until it becomes a functional proteins. And yun na yung proteins na nagagamit ng katawan natin or katawan ng any organism. So again, this is the central dogma of molecular biology, which just highlights how your DNA is replicated between two daughter cells, is being transferred from a parent cell into two daughter cells. Tapos, it is also the process of transcribing your DNA into an RNA and RNA being translated into your proteins. So I hope that's clear. So this is just a brief introduction of the central dogma. And for our next special lecture, we will be talking about the cell cycle.